Hey everyone, Dave here with Affordable Door and Gate. Well, we are going to talk about this framing nailer. And I hope you stick around to the end because I'm going to tell you a lot of bad things about this framing nailer. But I'm also going to show you, I'm going to use mine as a guinea pig. I'm also going to show you potentially how to fix it on your own if you end up purchasing one of these. Or if you have a problem, maybe what you can do to fix it on your own. So let's get into it. So with this particular nailer, I had big hope for it. I want to give you a little backstory before we start. We're going to tear this thing apart. We are going to go over this thing very thoroughly. So I ended up, I'm used to these guys, right? This is what I grew up with. Building stuff, building houses. This is what I grew up with. Pass load. You got your air one, you know, you hook your air up to it. And I don't want to bash Milwaukee too bad on this, but I want to call a spade a spade. So I started using this, right? This thing's not even a year old yet. I purchased it from my local Milwaukee dealer, which, come to find out, they don't service them. So that's the key thing. If you're going to deal with somebody locally, make sure they also service it. That's a big thing. So anyways, I started using this thing, and it worked great when I first got it. When I first got it, it was shooting great. I would say one of the biggest pitfalls is not having the extension on it, because I'm used to putting 2 racks of nails. This thing can only hold like 1. So you eat up nails. Now you can buy an accessory for it, which I was bummed about, because I think with the accessory for another, I don't know, like $100, which they probably could sell it to you for $40 or $50 or $60. I'd rather it just come with it because I'm already spending, I don't remember what this was, upwards of $300. So I'd rather just come with that extension. You know what I mean? I'd just rather pay the more money. I'd pay $425, whatever it needs to be to have my extension on here. I get it, it's cost, right? So I got this thing, we were using it, right? And we've been using it quite a bit. Not a lot. I would say probably maybe around 100 or so 2x4s, 8-footers, just framing walls and stuff, like what you see behind me. And we started noticing that it was thudding a little bit and it sounded different, right? Like it didn't have as much punch. Like it wasn't driving those nails. It didn't have that kapow sound, you know? It just kind of was going more like a thud, 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 almost like with one of these guys, like when your air starts getting low. Well, come to find out, what I figured out with this, what I've learned, is supposedly they put nitrogen in here, right? I thought this was a different design, honestly. I've seen these before in trim nailers and that. I didn't realize this is the first gen. I've seen trim nailers and stuff out there that kept saying they were second gens, and I thought, oh, I got a second gen, which second gen to me means, yeah, we figured out the problems and we fixed it. Not the case. This is first gen. The first gen is all they make, I guess. I think these have been around, the guy told me, around 3 or so years now. These have been around. So anyways, when I started thinking about, well, this is being a cylinder, like a piston, with air trapped in, from what I understand, this mechanism rams, you know, this piston back up there, and then it has a, you know, it's like a combustion motor where it's got the spark plug here, and then when you basically pull the trigger, that's when it lets it fire up that stored up energy. So with that, basically what started happening is this thing was leaking. I ended up doing some research. Like I said, it sounds like they put nitrogen in here, but I've vaguely heard a guy say that he put air in it, in a sense. Now this was with, I get the names confused, Makita, or I think it was Makita. Now Makita, if I can, I'll show a picture right here. And with the Makita, they actually make it where you have a cover that you can pull off, right? And you can actually fill it full of air again. So you can service the darn thing. From my understanding, I haven't tore this apart. This just came back from repair. It's roughly about in this area that you can't get to, which is a real bummer. Real bummer. So you got to take this whole casing apart to get to this air Schrader valve in here. So let's go into some more details. All right. Now, if you're a millennial like me, you grew up with this old boy, especially when you did garage doors. Good old 18-volt DeWalt. So the idea is with this, I was kind of bamboozled, right? I'm used to this. I am so used to this. The only problems I ever had with these was there's a belt inside. So it's basically, it's revving up a belt and then it discharges, right? That's what you can hear. It's winding up. It's winding up. It's ready for you to pull the trigger, right? Snazzy. Little nail back there. That's what I'm used to. I'm used to this kind of style gun. I've seen the belts shred on these, and that's it. Otherwise, they're great guns. They work good. They last a long time. I mean, you got to think this thing's probably, boy, these are getting to be, what, 12, 15 years old now? I still got it. I mean, I still got it back in the day when I used to keep color to identify tools. I mean, this thing's old. It's old, and it still works. And it was out in the field. It was, it wasn't mine. It was probably one of the guys' at one time. And it got beaten up, and it worked. Just worked. Need stuff like this that just works, right? So anywho, I'm used to that. I'm not used to these cylinders being full of nitrogen, air, that can slowly leak out, right? We know with a combustion motor, right? A combustion motor bleeds off, right? That's why you have to put more fuel in there. You have another, power stroke, whatever it is, it fires. So these bleed off, right? That's just common sense. That is just common sense, that's going to bleed off. If you're leaving this piston up in the up position, let's just say, and it's stored of energy, it's eventually going to go bad. It's eventually going to leak past the cylinder, pistons, O-rings, whatever's in there. So as this thing started to thud, the guy that was using it, I kept thinking, it's him. You know what I mean? It's him. And he was working on some spongy board. You know how you get a spongy board, you shoot, pow, pow, it jumps back a little bit. Well, then I started using it the next day. The next day was colder out, right? Got the fire. Woo-hoo. I warmed it up by the fire. I'm trying everything I can think of to warm this thing up, thinking the cold is affecting this. This cannot be happening, that this thing is failing. Did not matter. Didn't matter if I put it darn near on top of the stove. It just didn't matter. Warm it up. It wasn't getting any better. It got to the point where there is videos out there where it just does like like it's like it can't even it's like I'm so dead of energy, there's just no more left in me. And that's what this one started doing. So I thought about it long and hard, and I told myself, what do I do? Do I try to fix it myself? Do I see if it's covered under warranty? Now, of course, like a typical male, I lost the receipt. You know what I mean? I had the receipt, but I don't think it was the right receipt. Now, on one part, on the good side of it, Milwaukee kind of took care of it. Let's go into that a little bit. So I call the technical support, right? And if Milwaukee's listening, they can always reach out to me. I always put my email below. I wasn't real impressed with the guy that answered the phone. Let's just say that. He did his job, right? But he wasn't... I would say these people never have to... It feels like sometimes work in the field like me and you. Where they get their hands dirty and you're sweating and you cut your fingers and you're just... You know what I mean? So I'm ready for this baby to rock and roll. I spent over $300 on this thing. I need it to work. So I call tech support, and I'm hoping that they're going to tell me something that's like, yeah, we know, And the thing is, these people are all programmed not to say nothing, right? Oh, that's the first time I've ever heard of that. I've never heard of that before. And it's like, yeah, whatever. I know this phone conversation is being recorded, and you can't say that because you'll get fired. It just sucks. I like when the people are just honest with you. You can tell, right? You can tell with businesses. You've called businesses like that. So anyways, this guy just acted like he didn't want to. He just, first thing he's kind of just more like, give me, what's the serial number? What's the serial number? And I'm thinking, all right, so I give him the serial number, right? And he's like, well, you need to take it into a center. You can't give me one iota, maybe try this. I felt like, I don't want to deal with this dude. Just go somewhere. Go away. That's what it felt like. So I get the repair. There's like two of them. Of course, they're darn near an hour away. The place I get these from is about 20 minutes away. They're not a repair center though. They just sell these. So now I got to drive all the way out, right? And I'm not bashing. I don't want to bash Milwaukee on this. I get this. I'm a business owner. I get this kind of thing. But the thing that got me was I had to drive this thing an hour, right? And I'm thinking about the guy that's out there that's really like, I'm kind of putzing around with this. I'm not like, this isn't stopping my job. But it kind of did. So I look at it and I go, I got to drive an hour away to drop this, And I thought, sure would be nice if they give you a loaner. Even if it's used, even if it's been refurbished, even if it's, just a loaner. Hey, this is a loaner. Because the thing is, when I took this in, it's going to be 2 weeks. 2 weeks. Holy crap, man. I can't stop. I got guys working. I can't just stop, So then, my ingenious, bright idea, I told myself, I said, oh, well, I'm going to go purchase an old school pass load, right? That's what I grew up on. So my dummy self, on the road trip home, after dropping this off an hour away, and basically now it's 2 hours into the day, I literally go to Lowe's, right? And I know better. We know this as technicians, right? Just like with Lowe's, we know if you go buy a garage door opener from Lowe's, it's not the same quality as what you buy from a dealer, right? The Chamberlain is made, yes, they make LiftMaster, but it's not the LiftMaster. It's not the Cadillac. It's not the nicest one. So what did I do like a dummy? I didn't do no research. I go to Lowe's, I go in there, and it's like they got 2 on the shelf. They're collecting dust. I'm like, yeah, I want that one right there, up there. That one. Yeah, I want that one. So they give it to me, right? The guy gets the ladder, brings it down. I come home with it, right? And this is what irritates me is this is all tied up to this, because if this thing wouldn't have failed, I would not be here, right? So what gets me, right? I understand things happen, but now it's my time, and I have to spend more money, to get another nailer, right? Because now I'm stuck for 2 weeks, and we all know how this goes in the real world. 2 weeks could be more like 3 or 4, right? That's how it could be. So you can't chance it, right? You can't wait 2 weeks, and the guys are like, hey, did you get well, it gave me another 2 weeks. Well, geez, we would have known that. That's just how the world works. So I get this, right? I get the one, I bring it, I put oil in it, I baby it, whatever to it. Doesn't work. It's not working. It's not working the way it should be. It doesn't matter if I put a different trigger on it, rapid fire. It doesn't matter if I put the other trigger on and I'm single firing. It's not working. It's just like when you push on it, it goes, and you go click, click, come on, fire, fire. I was trying to ram it harder. I was trying everything. And I'm like, this thing's is a joke. This is a junk. So then, of course, I go to YouTube University, and what do I find? I find that they have problems, and I find that they have different models, and this one I'm holding in my hands is actually the big dog. This one cost another $50-some more than what you buy at the Lowe's. So what does that mean? It means I'm not a cheapskate, and so I didn't know. $50 is nothing for something that works. Well, I had to purchase this one. I had to do a lot of research to find it. Even my local lumber company, it's a good lumber company around here, didn't carry it. I had to buy it through Amazon, and I was scared because I thought if it doesn't work and I got to return it, oh, heaven to Betsy's. Well, luckily, it's been working flawless. Just one of those tools that you use and kapow. It works. It's supposedly a pound lighter. It's nice. The other guys really notice it. I love it. I love when you have the right tools that work. And you know what the beautiful thing about this is? Why I'm not recommending the Milwaukee is because this has the same concept of a cylinder. You put air into it, and it fires, and it fires, and it fires, and it fires, and it fires. And you're always recharging it, right, with more air. That's how it kind of supposed to work, I guess, So we're going to end up tearing this apart. Probably going to avoid my warranty. Thought about maybe if we could get up to like 2K for subscribers. Thinking about giving it away. Because It'll work. I'm sure it's going to work. I'm going to fire it for you. I'll put a battery in it here in a second, and I'm going to fire it for you. It came back. That's just how I got it back from repair. And they said they did replace some firing mechanism, but the thing was is when I went there too, and I talked to the guy, because I called the place first, right? And I'm trying everything I can do to avoid going somewhere, right? The 2 hours that's going to be the gas, the wear and tear, the potential of getting in a car accident, dying, wrecking a vehicle, all that stuff. I'm like, you guys, like, you know, the first guy I called, I'm like, you guys see this kind of like often? No, not really. And it's like, all right, well, then I guess I'm the one off. You know what I mean? Imagine that, right? So I said, well, I'll bring it in. So I started thinking about it because I thought, well, if I tear it apart before it gets warranted, they might void it. So I said, you know what? I'll just take it in. I'll have to deal with it for 2 weeks. And that was the problem. I always wanted to fix it myself and move on. And so, you know, I think even if Milwaukee would have said, hey, you know, what's going on, send us a video or proof or whatever, we'll send you parts or something, like kind of like a garage door opener. But to be without and not do a loaner, that's what really stunk. You know, even if it was like they said, hey, it's going to be $20 for a loaner, something. I don't know. That really irked me. All right, so let's go ahead. We're going to start. I'm going to fire this for you, and then I'm going to tear it apart. Let's get into it. All right, let's check this bad boy out here, shall we? You know what the worst part was, too? Is after this died, and this has been gone for a couple weeks, they called me, tell me a story. This darn thing wouldn't work for me, and this thing's worked pretty much flawlessly, right? Now, I think it got cold. It literally was sitting, battery was fully charged. You know, I just miss the old stuff, right? The old stuff like this. I kind of miss it. You know, I used to have triggers go bad, you know, but they'd like freak out, right? You know, the triggers would be like, they wouldn't work all the time. And then you know the trigger's getting bad, right? And you're like, yeah, I know it's getting bad. And it just keep working a little bit, to the point where it won't work. And you're like, I know it's the trigger. And you replace the trigger, right? And for the most part, these batteries always charge. I think these are nickel versus lithium. You know, I'm not an expert by this by any means. But these always charge. They were just great for what the time. I know they're old, they're slow, they're sluggish now, but man, these were reliable. These things, these got too many computer chips in them. And I don't know what to believe in these things anymore. You know, it's like, I don't know, every time you hit the button and that, it's like you got to wake them up. Like, come on, wake up. I literally had to heat it up. And it wasn't super cold. I think it was like maybe in the 30s or 40s. And it wouldn't work inside. It was sitting on a table in here. And I'm like, it works now. You know who came up with the idea, right? The wife. She goes, why don't you heat it up? All right, I'll heat it up. And sure enough, it worked. So, all right, let's grab a battery for this bad boy. Hopefully it works. I haven't used it since. Got two boards, they're separate. All right, well, I always get you always got to turn it on. It's always one thing I forget. With these, you know, you got air. You just go. Let's try it. Oh my God, it doesn't even work. I'm gonna kill somebody. Why doesn't this thing work? This is what happens when you make videos. You gotta put nails in it. Stand by. Lord save us. Using his name in vain. Man, that made me gonna be mad. Should work now. Boom, you hear that? You hear how that sounds? That's how it's supposed to sound. Oh yeah, see, I'm using safety glasses. You can't see them, but they're on. Whoa, it's smelling funny though. Like it's the new nitrogen or something. Wow, that's weird. That was a weird smell. Almost like you farted, and it wasn't me. There you go. It's all together. All right, let's tear this puppy apart. I'm going to show you what I think and what you have to do to fix it. If it happens to you and you want to charge it yourself, but at least this will be a video somebody can use for fixing and diagnosing and see what kind of problems. And at least you could fix it in the field maybe. All right, we're going to get into this. I had to leave for a moment there. It's the next day. Life happens. Life is very busy, which is a good thing. But it's nice and peaceful at 4 in the morning. All right. So, first of all, I won't bore you guys too much on this. We got to take all these screws out. All these screws, right? I'll count them. I'll lay them out. I'm not going to bore you with it. I'll cut and clip this baby for you. So we got to take these screws out. You know, so another thing, I was thinking about this a little bit, was, you know, kind of the bummer was I had to pay $10 for shipping. And it's $10. It ain't gonna make or break me, but it's still $10. I mean, for about $11, I could buy myself a meal or lunch. So that was kind of disappointing. Then, of course, to do this, which is obviously my choice, and if you need to know, this is the T20. Let's see if I can hold this up for you, right above my finger, right there. A T20, but it's that safety bit. It's the one that's got the hole in it. So it's a little, you know, it looks like a star bit, but it's got a hole. It's a safety tamper one. Let's see if it says here. So you need a T20. Well, of course, one I got's not long enough, so I modified it. I put a flathead on it so I can get down in these deep ones. The deep ones are the problem. I don't feel like going on Amazon and ordering another one for another $10. So I just modified this. I went down to the local store. Normally automotive stores have these. This one came from AutoZone. All right, be back in a bit. I remember watching somebody else do this. We're going to take a look here, though. Oh, yes. There's one more over on this other side. It's a goofy side. All right. I thought, man, this case seems weird. There we go. I'm trying to leave those screws in there. Huh. Wonder if they put a little red Loctite in there. Interesting. So as you can see, this is not real easy to do. Let's see if there's something over here that's holding me up. See, it's got an Allen somewhere provided. I kind of wish it had a... Let's see about taking this thing off. I just have a feeling this has got to come off somehow. But I just kind of wish they would have done everything as an easier maintenance in the field, honestly. This one's definitely got Loctite. That's a blue one, though. That's just on the clip here. Maybe it's because right here is how you separate it. Come on out. Come out wherever you are. All right, so that came off nice and slick. So that's off. These two bolts, which I have no idea if that's what needs to be quite done. I want to take this off nice and gently. I feel like I got a screw somewhere holding me up. Aha, we have access. Like I said, we're going to go real nice and gentle. Ew, it's greasy. Ooh. I wish I understood how this worked more. So anyways, theirs looks a little different. Let me get something for you. All right, so I had to get that part for you, which we're going to see if this is the right one. This is made in Japan. It says it's made in Japan. So what it is it's so you can hook an air compressor up to it. and then put some air in. It's got this weird Schrader valve here looking thing. Looks pretty fancy. So what I did is I kind of eased this thing up here. I'm believing, I'm going to stand up here so you can see this just a touch better. I know I don't got you real close in or anything, but I see they got some kind of silicone around this. So what I'm going to do is crack this. And hope it don't blow up in my face. I want you guys to be able to see that. See what I'm working with? It's got an Allen on it right here. And I wanted to kind of take my time with this video. I'm sorry that it's so long, but it's got a little bit of goop or something on it, like a little bit of grease. Right there, there's an O-ring in there. So that's what it looks like. I don't know for sure if this is the right one. I'm assuming they kind of stole technology. Yeah, that looks about... I'm not going to put it in all the way because I don't want to lose my nitrogen that this thing's been just repaired. But that feels and looks... I couldn't guarantee it, but it's going to go, you know, it's going to bleed. But this should be what you need. And if I get a chance, I'll put a screenshot too where I got it through on Amazon. But maybe this helps you out. These numbers, you can always pause the video. Take a look for yourself. Like I said, came in a little box. Nothing inside, but oops, helps if you got it the right way. Silly Billy. Probably be backwards for you guys anyways, but like I said, I'll try to put a screenshot. And we're gonna see if we can you can kind of see down in there a little bit. Not really that good, can you? But the point is, you got to fill this up. Now I see right on here, it says fill pressure on here. It says right on this little label, it says 102. I've seen some of the people putting these up to 160. Ooh, got fire. She's getting toasty. Woo! So as you can see, this is what you might encounter with one of these Milwaukee nailers. Mine could have been a fluke. If you guys have these, I'd love to hear your comments. You know, comment below about, you know, have you had problems? It's, you know, if you've had it for 3 years without any problems, you know, maybe specify a little bit how much you use it. Do you use it excessively, or are you just kind of a DIY that, you know, I do 1 or 2 here, you know, and long term it'd be nice too, because I have a feeling with these things just sitting, if you let this sit, it might lose the pressure over time, because like I said, it's a moving part in there. It's like a piston. And anybody that's a gearhead, like us guys with automotive, we understand how fuel and exhaust works and pressure, and you get blow by basically. So nothing's always guaranteed. But I wanted to at least show this so somebody out there kind of has an idea how to fix this on their self, or if they have an older one, because like I said, this cost me hours and hours of time, and it cost me some money. And let's just say I wasn't real happy. I wasn't real happy. So my advice is, obviously, if you're, I don't even know how to explain it. Honestly, I'd have both. If you wanted to have this for like a backup, and I don't know how much I would trust this. You know what I mean? I just don't know how much I would trust this. These guys, we left them sit in the Ford Rangers. We let them, this thing is, like I said, 15 probably years old at least, and it still works to this day. You know what I mean? Once in a blue moon, depending on how much you use it, you would shred a belt on it. But you knew it was going to happen. Normally it'd make noise. But this, I bet I can let it sit around for another 5 or 10 years, and it's still going to fire up because it's using centrifugal force. This thing, boy, I don't know. This might be fun if you're doing something and you already test fired it that night, and let's say you got to do it like a door jam or something. That might be. But anyways, I tell you what, guys, I think if we get up to 2K for subscribers, I'm going to throw it on. We're going to do a raffle on it. We won't even do a raffle. We'll just do a giveaway. I'll put it back. I'll make sure it fires. Everything works on it. And I don't really need it anymore because now I got this. But I'll keep it too. Like I said, if not, it's convenient. It's convenient. But I'll even throw a little Schrader valve in with it, the little air thing, so in case you run into a problem. I don't know. It's great when it works. It's awesome. It's awesome. But do I trust it? No. Do I think it's going to happen again? Possibly. Could have been a fluke. I don't know. Maybe some of you guys that have those Senko, I think they're Senko? Senski? Something. It's like S-E-N. I can't remember what they're. Maybe you guys can comment too. You know, trim nailers, framing nailers. Let me know. But it seems like nobody made a video on this, and everybody would comment about the other ones, and they'd show you how to fill them, and even the, like I said, the other one that's the bluer color, Makita or whatever. I can't remember. They had a spot for it to open up to access it, and I'm like, I wish this had an access instead of having to tear this apart because this is a real pain in the butt. All right, guys, that's enough for this video. I'm sorry that it was so long, but I figured it was necessary. I hope you guys have a wonderful day. Take care. We'll see you on the next one. I'm bad. I'm bad. I'm bad. Let's see if this thing still works. If I can still put things together. Battery. Nails. Check. Side note. I don't think you have to take the clip off to take it apart. No, you gotta turn the power on, you dummy. Let's try it again. Works like a charm. Cha-ching.